very small for the division. He doesn't hit as hard as some of the bigger guys out there. So I think Steve Cunningham at 11 is about right. Number 10, a guy I feel is underrated, Tony Thompson. This guy has got wins over David Price. This guy has got wins recently over Udlaner Solis. Solis is a top 20 guy, as I've already mentioned, in my opinion. Price is probably a top 30 guy. Thompson's beaten both of them. He beat Price twice. He's scheduled to face Solis in a rematch again. I know he's been beaten by Kubrat Pulev. I know he's been beaten by Klitschko. But these are guys towards the top of the division. And I think Tony Thompson is the ultimate gatekeeper to the top 10. Put simply, I think he's beaten better people in Solis and Price than the likes of Cunningham, Chisora, Chegaev, Spilka. I think he's just beaten a better calibre of opposition, and he's been consistent. And because of that, I rate him right towards the top of the division. Number 10 for Tony Thompson. Number 9, a guy I like, Carlos Takam. I rate Mike Perez very highly, and Takam drew with Perez. I rate Povetkin very highly, and although Takam got stopped by Povetkin, I think Takam asked some real questions of Povetkin that night. Takam beat Tony Thompson, who I've rated at number 10, so it's perhaps no surprise Takam is one place higher up in the list than Thompson. My concerns with Takam are, he's not the biggest puncher out there. Povetkin pretty much sparked him as he got tired, and stamina, fitness is an issue. But I think Takam is a decent fighter and very much within the top 10 of the heavyweights. So I've got Takam at 9. Number 8, perhaps controversial after a recent performance, Bermane Stiverne. I picked Stiverne to beat Wilder, and I was surprised how easy it was for Wilder to completely outbox and outmaneuver Stiverne. But Stiverne is a threat out there. He punches very, very hard. He's a counter-puncher. He's got a bit of ring savvy about him. He lays traps. He's a smart fighter. I haven't included Chris Arreola in this top 20 list, but I view Chris Arreola just outside, 21, 22, 23, that sort of area. And Stiverne's 2 dominant performances over Chris Arreola and some previous form over more fringe contenders make me think that he is still towards the top of the division, even if I overrated him slightly highly before. But I think Stiverne shouldn't be underestimated going forward, and it wouldn't surprise me if some young prospect brought him in as a name to try and fight against and got caught out by him. So I rate Stiverne at number 8. Number 7, a guy I rate very, very highly, Mike Perez. Clearly there's fitness issues and stamina issues, but I view this guy almost as an unbeaten fighter. In my opinion, when he fought Takam, he outboxed Takam for the first half of that fight. In my opinion, when he fought Bryant Jennings, he outboxed Bryant Jennings for the first half of the fight. This is a guy who has stamina, fatigue, fitness issues. I acknowledge that. But on his day, well, in fact, on any day, I've never seen him outboxed by anyone. He's got an iron chin. He's got a good jab. He's got excellent ring positioning, excellent head movement. He's recently started training with Robert Garcia. If he can sort his lifestyle out, he's a threat to all in the division. Maybe I'm overrating him at rank number 7, I think I've put him, but, I'm yet to really see this guy get outboxed by anyone. And I think if he can sort his fitness, with his boxing amateur background, with his chin, with his jab, with his movement, he is really a threat to anyone. Possibility he's going to fight Povetkin, and I must say I'd take Perez in that fight at this stage. I've done a video on that, so run a search on my YouTube channel, Povetkin Perez, and you'll see my thoughts on that if that's of interest. Number 6, Bryant Jennings. This is a guy I think will get exposed when he fights Klitschko. For me, he got outboxed by Mike Perez and was only able to win the fight by his athleticism, by his stamina, his fitness. And the guy is in good shape, credit to him. For me, he's like a David Haye. He's an athlete, but what he doesn't have is David Haye's power. He's got some good form. Even though I begrudge him the victory, he's got a win over Perez. He's got a win over Spilka, and he does deserve to be towards the top of the division. So I've got Bryant Jennings at 6. I think a lack of power, a lack of sort of amateur background, for me, a sort of susceptibility to being outboxed will prevent him from going any higher. At this point, if he fought Vladimir Klitschko, which is supposed to be next, I think he gets knocked out. Number 5, Kubrat Pulev. Pulev, I never saw him having a chance against Vladimir Klitschko, but I was surprised just how poor he was that night. No variety to his game, no movement. For me, he's just a jabber. You know, he's a jabber, he doesn't have great power, but he is a technician, you know, and he is going to cause problems for fighters out there. He's got a win over Alexander Ustinov, who I view as top 25. I think he's got a win over Dimitrenko. Most importantly, he has a win over Tony Thompson, who I've got at number 10. So that form over Tony Thompson makes me struggle to rate Pulev any lower than number 5. But he's going to need to be active. He's going to need to be in with good opposition in 2015 in order to get him back in the direction he wants to go in. So he's one to watch. Number 4, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, is still a very unproven commodity. We still need to see how good this guy is. He's got a good jab. He's got good range. He's got good movement. But I question his defence. I question his inside game. I question how open he is to hit. I still have some doubt, albeit lesser doubt, about his chin. I think if he fights Tyson Fury, a guy who's bigger than him, whose sheer size and distancing means that he can't rely on the long 1-2, he could be in for a tough night. So I've rated Deontay Wilder at number 4. He's got attributes. He's got a win over my number 8, Bermane Stiverne. He's got a win over Malik Scott, who's my number 15. So I think he deserves to be right towards the top. But I have a suspicion he'll get found out at some point in the next year or two. Number 3, Povetkin. Povetkin, he's a likeable guy. Very tough, very durable. Good stamina, good power. One-punch knockouts of Manuel Char, who's probably top 30. Carlos Takam, who I've got at number 9. Chagayev, this is a guy who definitely deserves to be towards the top of the division. The reason I haven't rated him higher, the manner of his loss to Vladimir Klitschko, so one-sided, makes me worry how he deals with tall opponents. I know Klitschko was a bit unsportsmanlike in that fight, but can he be outboxed? Can he be beaten by a more rangier, taller fighter? Possibly. If you look at the Carlos Takam fight, he wins that fight, he wins it fair and square, but I had some concerns over how Carlos Takam was outboxing him and, jabbing and moving him and winning rounds early on in the fight. So I still have some issues with Povetkin. I think he beats the majority of the heavyweight division, but I think he loses to my 1 and 2. Number 2, Tyson Fury. The calibre of opposition with Tyson Fury is good. It's probably top 5, top 6. But it's the manner of which he's gone about business which makes me perhaps overrate him. He's beaten my number 5. He's beaten Derek Chisora twice, who I think I had at number 12. He's beaten Steve Cunningham, who I think I had at number 11. He's beaten some respectable level of opposition. But I think this is a guy hitting his peak now. I think a lot of his form can be put down to youth and inexperience early on in his career. Now we're seeing the real Tyson Fury. A guy who took every round off Derek Chisora, brutally battered him. And I think with his southpaw stance, with his switch hitting ability, with his range, with his bodywork, his inside game, his movement, his combination punching, I think arguably he's the most complete fighter in the heavyweight division. So I've got him at number 2. Right now I think he beats Stiverne, I think he beats Pulev, I think he beats Wilder, I think he beats Povetkin. Funnily enough, the one I think who could give him trouble is actually Mike Perez. I know that sounds bizarre. I would just rate Perez very highly. But Tyson Fury, number 2 in the division for me. Number 1, perhaps no surprises at all, it goes to Matt Skelton. No, I'm kidding. It goes to Vladimir Klitschko. I won't rant on about what Klitschko's done, but, obviously wins over Tony Thompson, Pulev, Povetkin, David Haye. The list goes on. He's the most proven fighter. He's probably one of the most devastating punchers. He's the most, such a good boxer. And in my opinion, an all-time great. Klitschko, Fury, that's the fight I want to see. Let me know your thoughts on my rankings. How do you have it? Is there anyone I've overrated? Anyone I've underrated? Thanks for watching. Please check the channel, look at some of my other videos. If you like it, click the subscribe, click the like. Thanks very much.